Hey, Body Buddies, I'm Christy Joe, and I want to teach you about a traditional pyramid set that we will be doing here in Body Buddies. So, there's a few ways to skin a cat. I mean, there's a million ways to lift, but I'm going to teach you a very basic pyramid form. What this is where you are going to go like this. Whoop. As your weight increases, your reps will decrease, and then we'll come back down the other side. So I'm going to be giving you 5 different sets. Okay, so set number 1, we'll be doing 12 reps. So choose a weight that is approximately like 65 to 70% of your maximum weight that you can lift in 1 rep. The 1 RM is called 1 rep max. That's how much weight you could lift one time and only one time. If you really want to go off a numerical pattern and a very analytical way of doing this, or lift a weight, and it just takes a few days of just testing and kind of recording some numbers, but you can easily find what that weight is for you and be like, okay, that feels good. Like I'm challenged the final 2 to 3 repetitions of this set. And if so, fantastic. Then you're doing a great job. You're on the right weight. So we don't want to be like yanking and like this. For a 12 rep set, it should be smooth. Keep that 2 to 2 tempo, full disengagement, full contraction. You always want to think that this is your muscle fibers really, really tight and contracted. Yes, we want to go into that contraction and squeeze that and maximize that, but a lot of people, they just disengage it to lower the weight, even if it's with control. The difference is what happens here. You come into the contraction and you feel like you're pulling a rubber band out of it to the maximum extension point. Watch the difference in my bicep. Come in, this is a traditional boom, contract, let it go. Contract, let it go. Now watch the rubber band effect. Contract, keep the contraction. Do you see how that muscle is still working? I'm shaking. I am shaking right now. Okay. That is the difference when a client or anybody I'm working with comes to me and is like, Christy, I just feel like I need to lift more weight. And I'm like, do you? Are you paying attention to the rubber band effect? And then they go to the gym, they message me again, send me an email, whatever it be, whatever our level of coaching is. And they're like, oh yeah, I totally got schooled. And I was like, yeah, you don't need to lift a ton of weight. Am I a fan of you pushing yourself and going for more weight? Absolutely. But when you have good form and when you have the right mechanics and when you're already maximizing what you can do with your current load, get that down first, because I don't want you to overly stress your tendons and ligaments. Anyway, let's go back to this pyramid scheme. So pyramid scheme, it's like an MLM. So we have 12 reps with a 70%. Let's just, to make it easy, 70% here. Okay. Then you're going to rest for about 45 to 60 seconds. Don't be like super OCD about the timing. The times are just there to give you an approximate idea of how long it would take for that muscle to regenerate ATP through the Krebs cycle. It's basically regenerating glucose to feed into the system so that, oh, look, there's energy back in the muscle again. So that's the approximate amount of time it might take, assuming a certain load, a certain intensity. So you have to realize this is a very chemical process. These numbers help give us some ideas and some boundaries, but they're not the end all be all. You have to learn to listen to your body. That's what I want you to do here at Body Buddies. Listen to your body using a lot of the guiding principles and rules and thinking outside the box, saying, interesting, I learned this about my body. Okay, I'm getting too deep. Let's keep it simple, Kristen. Keep it simple. Okay, 12 reps, boom, 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 boom. Rest for 45 to 60 seconds. Set number 2, raise the weight slightly. Now you have to remember, if you're working on a main muscle group like your chest, your shoulders, your back, your glutes, your hamstrings, your quads, you probably can move the weight up a little bit more, maybe in 10, maybe in 15-pound increments. You get to decide that. But smaller muscles like biceps, calves, triceps, don't be alarmed if it's not the same ratio of like adding 5 pounds on. It's a completely different ratio game of how much weight you're adding. You know, like 5 pounds of adding onto a 5 pound with a bicep curl is not the same as adding 5 pounds onto a 90-pound leg press. The ratio is completely off. So be very careful with what you're expecting of yourself with the changing of these weights. If possible, yeah, increase the weight. If not, increase the time, because a lot of you are dealing with injuries. A lot of you are dealing with some, well, honestly, if you're really injured, you shouldn't be lifting. But you know, when you're dealing with really irritated joints and ligaments and things like that, please be careful. So instead of raising the weight, just increase the time. So instead of like doing a 2 to 2 tempo, maybe for set number 2, you keep the same weight and you go, I'm going to go a 3 to 3 tempo during my 10 reps. Okay, so you can see how I'm still increasing the volume and I'm increasing the work on the muscle without increasing the weight. thinking outside the box, right? Rest again, 45 to 60 seconds. Now you're at the peak of the pyramid. A little bit heavier or more time under tension. 8 reps. Rest, decrease the weight. 10 reps. Rest, decrease the weight. 12 reps. So we went 12 reps, 10, 8, 10, 12. 45 to 60 seconds in between. You can apply this to any muscle group. Now I'm going to give you a few advanced things to do, especially if you're really wanting to chisel up, if you're wanting to grow, if you're wanting to really push yourself. Then at the end of that pyramid, after that final set of 12, either A, drop the weight, cut it in half by like 30 to 50%, and do another set and do them faster, like 1-to-1s. Let's say I was doing lateral raises. So I just finished that last 12. I'm like, boom, I'm busting it here. I'm going to drop the weight. I'm like, let's go. Boom, boom, boom. And don't set a limit on it. Sometimes it's okay to push to exhaustion. However, be careful that you don't push to exhaustion in a muscle group early on in the training session. If you have 5 or 6 assigned muscle groups, then don't burn yourself out on the first one, assuming you have the time, but on the contrary, if you suddenly get a phone call and you're like, oh my gosh, I have to leave in 15 minutes and you need to suddenly get more work in, give yourself permission to not do the full training plan. It's okay. Know your goals. Know if it's more important for you to jump to your cardio or to finish your training, which just takes asking me in our Body Buddies World Facebook group. Make sure you give me the full details of what your goals are and things like that. But you don't have to like just abandon the whole workout and create this all or nothing thinking where you're like, oh my gosh, I'm a failure because I didn't do it all. No, raise the intensity and the time you have on the 2 exercises you can do by ripping out some drop sets. Okay, that's what that's called when you drop the weight and rip it out a little bit more. Okay, there's no defined like you have to do this many reps in order for it to be a quality drop set. It just needs to be efficient and it needs to be like a push of pushing to that extra level, like that you should have done enough before you chose to do the drop set. That should have been enough, but you chose to go even beyond. It's like that extra mile. So if you're going to do a drop set, don't leave yourself energy for the drop set. That's the cherry on top. You got to work it to the end of what's preceding the drop set. So I'm very excited for you to apply this. If for some reason you feel like 5 sets is too much for you, go ahead and go 12, 10, 8, and then just finish with a 4th back on 12. Okay. All right. There's your pyramid schemes for Body Buddies World. Go in there and tear it up, have fun, lift, connect with your body. It is a beautiful opportunity for you to align with all the muscles in your body and to become aware of how your body works, the structure of it. I don't believe training the body is a vain thing. I actually think it's a very spiritual thing. I think it's a very cool element of awareness of yourself, of movement, of gratitude for this gift of the body you have. If you're in the right mindset, you approach this the right way, and you're viewing everything from a beautiful building and loving yourself and improving yourself and mental toughness with yourself, I think this is such a crazy awesome thing to do. So thanks for challenging yourself, whether you're doing this at home, at the gym, get in there, and I want to hear how it goes. Power your body, 1 meal, 1 workout, 1 day at a time.